episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, Red Rooster Fabrics, so new, so exciting, so Red Rooster, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America. Hi, you're watching Quilt with the Stars, and I'm here with my special guest, Kelly Mueller. And this is the demo portion of your time here. And we are going to show you how to make this fabulous, gorgeous, adorable little project here over to our left. It's like this triptych, you know, this 3-paneled project that I love. Tell me a little bit about it.
That's exactly what it is. It's actually 3 different small quilts, and it goes on this wonderful little stand here, and all fusible web applique, which is what I like to use.
Great. Yeah, I use it a lot in your design work, and that snowman in the middle is just jumping for joy. He's so exuberant, so happy, and it really, really is lovely with the little birds flying in. I mean, it's gorgeous. I love it. What can I say? I love it, Kelly.
Thank you.
So show me how to make one myself.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're going to start with the applique pieces. Great. So I'm going to have you trace maybe the 2 top pieces of the hat there.
Perfect.
So just take a regular pencil there.
Okay. And I should mention that this pattern, this project, is going to be featured in the January-February issue of Love of Quilting magazine.
Yes.
I went outside the lines there. And there's always great content on fonsimporter.com. You can find more about Kelly and about this project, and always get lots of tips and supply lists, stuff like that online. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
So what we're going to do is we're going to cut out each of the pieces and just leave a little room around your trace line.
A little room around. And, why do we do that?
Well, what you're going to do is you're going to fuse it to the back of a piece of fabric, and then once you've done that and it's cooled, we're going to cut it on the trace line. But we want to do that after it's on the fabric. Makes it a lot easier.
So you give yourself a little room to wiggle.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need a lot, but just a little.
Just a scotch. All right. Is that too much, or am I doing well?
Nope, that's perfect.
Okay. It's almost like reverse windowing, you know, leaving a little bit. I'm making that up.
Exactly like that.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we're going to let's take the top piece here, and we're going to fuse it to the back of a piece of fabric for our hat. And it just takes a little bit. Just run your iron over it.
Okay. Pretty styling snowman. I think I saw that hat, you know, in a fashion magazine.
Yeah. So what you have here is your piece of fabric, and we've already cut one out here. You're just going to cut along the trace line here.
Okay.
And this is what you get.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to take this, and I already have a snowman started here. And this is an applique pressing sheet, which I love to use. You
said you love them, and
I use it all the time. Yes.
When you're making units like that, applique units with lots of different pieces, there's really nothing like it. I mean, it's like a cookie sheet, you know, like one of those cookie sheet things, you know, that you can bake on.
Yes.
It's kind of like the same thing. I wonder if you could bake cookies on it too. I'll have to ask my mom.
Try it.
Try it, maybe carefully.
So what we're going to do is, and we're going to actually use, if you can get that other piece of paper there that has an applique placement diagram. I guess we can turn this around here.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And I use these. They're great because you can actually make it look exactly like I have it on the quilt. And what you're going to do is you're going to place this below the sheet, and you can see through the sheet. And so I'll line this up here. I've already done part of the snowman.
Get this thing in here.
Yeah.
You know, you were saying that sometimes applique projects that don't give you that guide can end up looking just never quite how they look in the picture.
And everyone's completely different.
Which is nice, but sometimes you want it when it's designed so beautifully like this. You want it like exactly right.
Exactly.
You want it to look like Kelly's, you know? Yeah, so that's really handy.
So what we're going to do is I usually piece them one at a time. You want to start with the pieces that are behind. For instance, the snow is behind the coat, so you would start with that first. So we're just going to put this down here.
I mean, look at his little arms. He's like, I'm a snowman. I'm a snowman. I don't know. Makes me laugh.
And then we're going to put this other piece over it.
Does the pattern say what order, or do you just kind of figure that out?
Well, it does help. You can see here, you see these dashed lines.
Yeah.
And that means that this portion of that piece is underneath the adjacent piece.
Thinking of everything.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. And so once your snowman is together, you peel them off? Maybe I'm getting ahead of you.
Peel them off. No, that's just exactly right.
Cool.
So I already have one here. You want to let it cool because you don't want to pull it off too soon, or if it's still warm, the pieces might pull apart. So this one's completely cooled. You can just start peeling it up just carefully. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And it's so fun because it comes off like one big sticker,
Yeah,
and then you can center it on your quilt. And it's a lot easier than trying to place the pieces on your quilt one at a time. And if you get it wrong, you can just kind of peel it up a little bit and redo it.
It's awesome. It's like color form. Remember those?
Yeah.
Remember those things? That's beautiful.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a lot of fun.
So then what comes next is we place them on our panel.
We're going to do that, yes.
Great.
So we have a panel already started here, and I've already put the snow and the cardinal on there. So if you want to, you can just place these. We'll put it up here on the board here.
Okay.
And you can just place it so the snowman is just overlapping exactly.
Almost like a 1/4 inch, right? Like
Yes.
a 1/4 inch seam,
Yep.
right?
And then you're just going to lay it down, and you're just going to go ahead and iron it. I'll let you do it.
Wow, okay, thanks. I feel like it's...
You just need to run it over just a little bit,
Okay.
and he'll stick.
Is that good? Is that enough?
Yep,
Okay.
that looks good. Okay.
Nice.
So, and once you've done that, you're going to let that cool, and then you can start the sewing.
What we're going for is the blanket stitch, right? We want
Yes.
And I'm gonna do a little blanket stitching.
Yes.
I'm pretty good at it, but it's so beautiful. I hope I do okay. Yeah, the blanket stitch really gives it that folk art look and really that sort of rustic.
Very country, yes. And you can see here, I did black on a lot of the pieces, but for the snowflakes, and then you can see on the quilt, on the snow on the trees, I used a matching thread because black can be a little, it can look very jumbled if you have too much of it.
And the snowflakes are such narrow pieces that blanket stitch, if it was dark, I think it would obliterate the white.
It would.
Those are those design choices that you make, and as I think if you start to do a little bit of design, you learn a lot really fast about what works and what doesn't.
You do.
Do you think it's cool enough for me to do the blanket stitch now?
I think it's ready.
I'm gonna try it. Now we're using red thread like we do on TV, so it's not gonna look exactly right, but it's gonna be fun for me to try. All right, so let's see, I'm gonna go like this. Now the way you've got it, it's just the ridge of the snow is, I just want to place it right. Okay.
Your needle's going to come down right at the edge where the fabrics meet, and then just goes in.
I like the blanket stitch a lot, and that's another design element too. I mean, you can decide how deep you want, how deep of a bite you want, you know?
And on the smaller pieces, like the cardinal here, I've done smaller stitches. You want to adjust the stitch width and length to the piece.
That's great. Okay, I did a little ridge. Let's see how I did.
Perfect.
I hope so. I hope so. It's easy to do that little, yeah, hey, I did pretty well.
You did.
Yeah, that's really fun. And then you just go around the whole guy.
Yeah, you want to stitch every piece down so nothing comes up. And once you have that complete, what we're going to do is we're going to do a few finishing stitches here. You can see on the snowman, on the quilt over there, little pom-pom on the top of the hat.
Right.
So I'm going to show you that. I just have a piece of pearl cotton thread, and this is size 5.
So the guys can get it there.
Okay.
Great.
So we're just going to go up from the bottom. If I can get the edge of the hat here. You're going to bring it up, and then you're going to run a little loop up here. And then this is called a lazy daisy stitch. And you're going to come down right next to where you came up through the fabric. And then however far you want the pom-pom to come out, you're going to make the needle come up there. And this makes your loop. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so we've got our loop, and then you want to take the needle down just on the other side of that loop, and that's what's going to kind of tack it down.
Sure. Right, you're doing a loop and then you tack down the loop.
Exactly.
Right? And then you do another loop and tack down the loop.
Yeah, and you're just going to make like a fan that goes all the way across for his hat, and you're going to do the same thing for his scarf, just make little loops coming out like that.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then you used that same pearl cotton for the eye of the bird, right? A little knot.
A little French knot. So let me,
I can snip that.
yeah, if you just want to snip that one, we'll just reuse that.
Great, I'd love to see that little bird's eye.
Yes. So we're just going to come up, and then for the French knot, you just wrap your thread around a few times, and then you're going to put it down right next to the stitch where you came up, and And the trick is usually to keep that thread taut. And I'm not a big stitcher. I just do a little bit to help embellish some of my quilts, so I'm learning along the way, but there's the French knot.
Oh, I have to turn it around. It's so perfect. It's just the perfect little eye for the cardinal to see where he's going to get some birdseed. Thanks, Kelly. That was really great. It's an awesome project. So stick around on the next segment of Quilt with the Stars. We're going to take a look at Kelly's projects, some quilts, some different projects that you brought with you for a trunk show. So stick around. This episode of Quilt with the Stars is brought to you by Baby Lock, for the love of sewing, Red Rooster Fabrics, so new, so exciting, so Red Rooster, and Koala Cabinets, sewing furniture custom built in America.